Right. Hi, everyone. It's really an honor to be here. And then thank you very much for inviting me to here to share my story and knowledge. So hopefully something you can take it away and something that ignites within yourself that, oh, that might be something that I would like to look into. So yeah, it's really all about just sharing my personal story, how the coaching really found me and how that was impacted in my life. And then something that probably we will have some resonate in between. So hopefully that you can enjoy this time together. So first of all, then I think I'll share the who am I. Who is this woman talking to me here? So my name is Minkyung. Here I just wrote my Korean name, so in the Korean text. So, but in Finland, my colleagues and friends and family knows me as Minku. So that's my Finnish identity. So you call me Minku. And I think it's interesting to just talk about where I'm come from. So I'm from originally South Korea and born and raised. And then I moved to Finland around 2006. So you can tell I've been here for a while. So sometimes I feel like a local in some ways, especially when I'm drinking black coffee a lot. And I love santikuppi. So, and I adopted like Finnish lifestyle quite a bit. So embracing that, winter sports. For example, I'm do cross-country ski, sign up for 24-hour relay. I didn't know what I was signing up for, but I did it, and then I was the last one anyway. But that was fun. And also I'm doing some ice swimming without sauna, so that one. And then I crossed Finland on my bike and then slipping back from Helsinki to Kuopio once, and then from Kuopio to Inari. So, and I'm regularly going to the gym. So that's how I'm taking care of my well-being side. It's very important. And then I met my husband in China, 2001. So we've been knowing each other about 20 years, more than 20 years. And he's very Finnish, so very few words from Savo region. And I have one cat, which I have a long-distance relationship. So he's living with my father-in-law for some reason. He prefers the countryside life. So these are my personal stuff, but I also wanted to talk about my values, because it is something that guides me in my work and also in my life. And people don't talk about it when they are introducing themselves, but it is a very important piece of information. So I'm a very curious person, always questioning mind, and always something to learn. And also, before you are going to become anybody, that you need to be a good human being. So there's the integrity. And I always wanted to be kind to people with brutal honesty. So, and all of these things will be needing courage. So these are my values. And I hope that you also listen to this or walk away from this talk, then think about what is really the value that within you. Then professionally, I am wearing some hats, many few hats. So I'm a certified coach and also Enneagram practitioner, which is the very rigorous but then very comprehensive personality system that is more focusing on your motivation rather than just a surface on the behavior. So that, and then also I'm a mindfulness trainer. So all of these things hopefully tell you something about me. And also currently now I'm with Supercell for about 10 years in several different roles within the company. So there I'm in charge of learning and development topics. So from the onboarding to skill development to all the way to the learning development technology side so that we can help people and teams to grow. So that's me. And I think it's the best way to share my story. How did I become a coach? Why it was important for me? So I would like to share that journey. And hopefully you can take away some of the key part of what is the coaching really? And how does that serve you in the end? So I moved to Finland, right, 2006. And I got into a small family entrepreneur. So there's about 50 people, international team, and it was just really like a nurturing time for me to understand the cultural differences. Korea, Finland. It's quite different in some way, especially in the working environment and in communication. So it was all about adapting, learning, how is it in actually working in Finland with international talents. So there was a nurturing time for me, so I learned something. And a few years in here that I had an amazing chance to work in Supercell. So I started as a vendor manager. So there was a vendor manager for the player support team. So I was taking care of our Korean players to support them what they need while they are enjoying our games. So it was a super exciting time when I joined. The company was about 200 people. So it was kind of really like startup, and then Clash of Clans were just launched in Korea, and then we were having like massive marketing in there, and then it blew up. So there's a lot of players who needed our support. So it was an exciting time as well. And over time, that I also slowly moving my role to team support. So there, I was more working with our internal teams closely, and then help them to speed up and then develop, and then they work in their own craft. So there was the time that I was moving to. But also there was the period where that I feel that maybe this learning is something really, really important for everyone. As an expat who come from different culture and have to adapt and learning, it was very natural for me to all the time constantly seeking for what I can do for moving forward. So there was pretty much natural steps that I moving to the L&D professional. So then helping me to help others. And then during that time, all of those things were not coming without challenges. You can imagine that in the game industry itself is like very, very fast moving industry. Trend changes all the time, technology changes all the time. And over time that it was just like a little bit daunting while I'm seeing in the Supercell, it's known as a company having like a top talent from the industry and the experts from all around the world. Then I'm just thinking, why am I here with these people? Like, these people are amazing. Do I actually have what it takes to keep up? So that question is in my mind all the time. And as you can imagine, from Korea, it's a very competitive environment since the school time. You have to really make it. And that kind of things are like all the time within me, inside. Am I good enough, really? Am I really keeping up with these amazing people? So it was inspiring. Every day you learn something from your colleagues, but also at the same time it was very daunting that I have to keep up. So it's really a stressful time. So as you can see, like sabotaging yourself with your own self-inner critics. You have to do better. You have to do more. Do it faster, quicker. That was my internal word has been. And that's not only that, it intertwined very quickly with the growing pain or confusion of my own identity, because I'm away from Korea. I get into this Finnish society. Between this culture, sometimes Korea just feels very distant. But I'm also not totally rooted in Finland culture here. Who am I? I'm in between, in the limbo. And that is on top of all this pressure, and I'm losing myself. So you can picture now, for 2 seconds, think about how was my inner world looks like. Pretty messed up. Very battle kind of like, okay, there's no peace, no quietness. So that was what's happening. And then coaching came to me. So in Supercell, it's an amazing company that really values the growth and the well-being side. So they had a lot of good support for those factors. So for example, there's a therapy, there's a coaching, and all the other development tools and resources. So I thought, maybe I will try with the coaching. That sounds interesting. what was interesting was that coaching is something that you're really focusing on right now. What is happening with you, and how do you want to move forward from here? That was very important for me because you were looking back, you learn about yourself, how and what formed you right now, who you are. Yes, but if you understand that, then what? What is next? Where do I go from here? So coaching was more really focusing on now and then future. So there was really like interesting time that I was getting to the coaching journey. So my coach was asking me when we have like a couple of sessions, and she was asking, can you describe what's the situation with you right now? I was just pouring out. Hey, you see, there's nothing I can do. Look at it, I'm an expat. Like, other way, it's immigrant, I don't speak Finnish, you know. I'm not in the center of the social network. I'm a woman of color, you know, nobody will listen to my opinions. All of these things are coming out, and I said, I feel like I'm in a jail. Tiny jail, where that I don't have any exit to get out. Really, really like poured out. And coach was like, okay, so that's how you are now, you feel. And then she walked me through, session by session, what do I actually have to see this situation differently? And what kind of strengths do I have? So that actually taking care of myself and then looking at the goals that in the end, what kind of things that you can do in your life? So there was really a slow process, but then also very fascinating that you actually change your perspective, how you're looking at that jail-like situation to, I actually have something that to solve and deal with this situation much, much better. And that's the kind of the whole idea of the coaching for me, and it was really transformative because in the end of the relationship, the coaching relationship journey, and I was just expressing where that I'm not in the jail anymore. I can open my body like wide enough that I'm standing here with my own power and then strengths. I can handle anything. So that was the whole perception changes. So yes, I'm still an expat. I'm still a woman of color, and I'm still probably from some people looks like a tourist when I'm stepping into the tram, you know? None of those are changed. But how do I look at myself has been completely changed. So very recently, I delivered, okay, I'll put this one. So it's now time that I'm nurturing myself, and then I also grow myself. So about that cultural differences part, there was actually the kind of barrier for me when I looked at it. There was a limitation for me. There was a barrier that I couldn't really do anything. But now, just 2 weeks ago, I delivered one cultural session for our team where how do you communicate between Western culture and Asian culture, for example? There's differences. How do we approach that? And I co-hosted that session and delivered successfully. And how did I do that? Because my perspective shifted so that this is my strength, actually. I understand both culture, and I can shift between. And that's the strength. It's not the barrier. And using that, I can also help others to do so. So, you know, it's really, I don't know, very meaningful for me, and hopefully that ignites something within you as well. Whatever you have, you think that is a limitation. Maybe you will have a different perspective and then look at it differently. So through my journey, that you might taste it a little bit of, okay, what coaching can do. So you can just really go through what is really coaching, more knowledge bases and information. So we have this International Coaching Federation. They've defined that partnering with clients in a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. So coaching is all about stretching you and looking at your strengths and potential so that you are actually solving your own problem or looking at the life or fulfill whatever you want to achieve in life with your own resources. And in my coaching practice, one thing is really, really cornerstone is that we trust whoever comes to coaching, humans, they're all naturally creative and resourceful and whole. And that has to be there. If it's not there in the coaching, we can start the coach. Because we have to believe, and we believe, that you already have your resources to deal with anything. So that's the really cornerstone. And the other things are there, confidentiality and trust and safe space and no advice giving. These are also the very fundamental of coaching. So confidentiality, coach and then the client, whatever they are talking, that is stay within them. So it's not going to be shared or used as some sort of like examples in the outside of that conversation. So it has to be agreed. And sometimes in the business context, that you can agree with that, hey, these are some of the details can be shared with your manager or the supervisor, but it has to be consented from the client. So that is very important. And then trust, of course. You are coming to the coaching, you have to be very open to share your real deal. If you start pretending, the coaching doesn't work. So you trust the coach has that intention for you to be well and succeed and your growth. And also, coach will trust you. You are creative and a resourceful being. So you have to trust that. And then it's both ways. The coach will trust you also bring whatever that you're bringing is true. And other thing is a safe space, because you have to face your ugly truth. You're looking at your mirror. Sometimes you find something that you don't like. Oh, my eyes are, one is a little bit drooping than the other one, So all of those things, you have to be able to say it. You have to be vulnerable. So that's the one thing, the safe space, that is so important. You have to feel safe to share all those vulnerabilities. That's the coach's kind of role, of course, to create that space so that you can be really honest with yourself. And one another very important thing is, because of the cornerstone is that we believe that you have what it takes already within you, and you are in charge of your life, and your experience is really yours. Nobody can really understand it fully as much as you can. So it makes no sense if somebody comes there to give you an advice that how do you live life. It's all about what really works the best for yourself. So there's no in the coaching that advice giving is happening. If somebody does that and then call it coaching, then you can point it out. It isn't. So these are really, really important fundamentals about coaching. Then you might be wondering, how is it different than the other method? But I have heard about the coaching, and then also therapy, and also mentoring. So here is the focus areas. I just put it in here because it can be very gray areas that they're overlapping, some of the method and so on. But I'm talking about from the very focus areas, how also the coach and then therapy, their role is in that relationship. So, and also I heard that in Finnish, there's no distinction between coaching and then therapy. They all talk in one word. So I think it's even more difficult to distinguish. But here, usually coaching is about really discover what you have so that it brings out your strengths. And then the coach's role is there to mirroring the clients. So when you're saying something, or then we are using the powerful questions to really reflect back, does this what you mean? So we bring out the more clarity about what your thinking is and feeling is, so that you yourself will be like basically sparring with yourself. So to clarify your thought and then feelings, and then you're like, oh, okay, that was what I meant. And ultimately, we want change. Why are we talking for an hour about what happens and so on? What is it? We want change for your own growth and all about moving forward. So that's about the coaching. And we are focusing on what now and what's going to be in the future. What is my goal? Where do you want to go? Even small thing, like I wanted to do more exercise every day. I wanted to wake up 7 o'clock. I wanted to do the 30 minutes mindfulness. Why it's not happening? Well, let's go through it and change that habit. So makes the difference. And while therapy is, like we just heard, as a previous session as well, where then addictions or there's some disorders and mental health problem that you really need professional help. That you cannot really do or handle it yourself anymore, then you need really help and then guidance. So then there is a therapist offered there. So it's advice giving is fine, and then maybe guiding some of the method or then the steps that you need to take to make the change. So, and then it's focusing on the what happened in the past, so that it clarifies that how you feel right now or what you're going through. So those are the main differences. And then we're talking about mentoring. So mentoring is like quite interesting because it is more about the really expert area. So let's say in the game industry, there's a game artist. I want to be a game artist, or then I'm just in the beginning of the game artist journey. I need some advice. I don't want to repeat the history. Then you find an expert who will be the mentor, who has been doing that already really, really long time, have an intensive experience and an expertise. So you are working with the person together and then sparring ideas. And then maybe you will have a very long-term relationship with the mentor as well throughout the whole career or something. Because coaching can be 6 months, 1 year, you have set the goals and then reaching out. Because coach is not holding your hands entire life. Coach is here to just help you to get better and stronger on your own. So there is that differences. Hope this will give you a little bit of clear ideas. What are the differences between these? Next one would be value and impact of coaching. I have talked about a little bit of that already in the beginning, but it has a lot of them. But it's all starting from the clarity. So usually people say something like, oh, I don't know, like, I cannot really answer it. I never thought about it. In the coaching sessions, mostly, quite often here, oh, I don't know. But actually you do know. So the question would be more like, what do you know then? So we can spotting the ideas and making more clarity, because you don't know or then you are not thinking about it. So there's this like a small tweaks when you are actually talking about it. So that is very important, because what you're saying repeatedly, it becomes your habit. And then your small habits forms up your next steps. So how you're going to tell yourself is so important. And there's some clarity about anything that you're asking yourself or telling yourself. So out of all of those benefits, I would like to talk about few things that really shaped me and helped me in the end. So first, we start from the center, like be kind to yourself first. I think the first part is also very important, because if you're not kind to yourself, it's hard to kind to others. Because you keep telling yourself a certain thing, and then you're looking at yourself in a certain way, and then you look at others through the same lens. So it's very difficult that you can be kind to other people if you're not kind to yourself first. So let's pay attention to what you're telling yourself, especially when things are not going well. Well, it's always so harsh, like, oh, why did you do that? You're so stupid, you said that? Oh my God. You know, all of these things, oh, I'm so miserable, I couldn't do this. The presentation. Like, for me, I did this and why did I say that? So all of those things are happening in our inner world. So that's some, let's call it inner critic or sabotage, because this is sabotaging ideas that beat you up. Everybody make a mistake. It's okay, I learned something. Let's move on with this learning. Next time I will do it better. Two different narratives are existing within us. And we are the one who decide which one we are going to listen to. So that's where coming leader within, I'm saying. So there are, in a way, one saboteur and one leader within. So leader within is more like kind yourself, and empathetic, and who really support you from the really, really core part of yourself. So even though you really like messed up something, but that person will be saying something to you, like a really best friend, or even the trusted friends could tell you, it's okay, you did it well. That empathy. So that's the leader within. So you have to wake that leader within yourself. So you listen to the leader more than the saboteur. So that's be kind to yourself first. And then other thing is you're in charge. As I said, nobody makes you feel or do something. It is you decide if I'm gonna take that one or not. You are in charge. As soon as you give the power to somebody else, he makes me feel so bad. Is it his fault, or then is it us who decided him to control me? So that is the kind of the dynamic you need to change. If you want it to be more fulfilled and happy with yourself, because you, in the end, are in charge of your life. So you are going to make a decision. You are going to decide what to take in, what to not take in. So that's all yours. And how do we get that power back? You have to think about that. It's you against you, or it's you helping you. So take that, you are always at your choice. So having that empowering and responsibility and your ownership of your own life. So that is something coaching can really ignite. Because I was in that back in, I think, a pandemic time. We all went through a pretty tough time. But that pandemic happens, and I was undergoing some surgery coming up. My husband lost job. And then what else? Yeah, and then a little bit of a sense of like setback in my career. I feel like, okay, where do I go here? There was like a pretty tough time. So, and then I was started thinking, this is all unfair. Why this is happening to me? I came here to Finland to enjoy life and then, all of those good things, but why this is happening to me? What did I do wrong? And those are the questions come up very immediately because I wasn't ready to take that stand for myself. I'm looking at the situation. Okay, this happens to me. And I start to blame all the other things. Others are doing this to me. And I give away all the powers to others too. But is it really so? And life, we don't expect that it is always pink and peach. It's going to be throwing the curveballs to you. How we are going to react to it is our choice. And there, the coaching really ignites that view. I'm in charge. Even though those things are happening, how am I going to take that? And then figuring out how am I going to overcome this thing is on me. It's not anybody else. Yes, sure, sometimes happen some unfair things. But still, we are at our choice. We are the one who is in charge. So that's where the coaching's power, that you are stronger to handle those situations. And the third one focuses on strengths. So coaching is not for people who comes there that please fix me. No, we don't see you as a fixable object. As I said, you are naturally resourceful, creative, and whole being. We believe that one. So then you're coming to the coaching, you're just lost. You're not broken. So there's nothing to fix. And let's focusing on what you don't have. Let's focusing on what you have. So that we can just develop more, and then through that strength, we will find out what we need to add more. So that's very interesting kind of perspective change as well, because ask me how many self-development books, videos, podcasts have been reading, but it is all from the perspective where that I need to fix myself, I need to get better, from the completely empty jar that I have to fill it up, and looking all the other people who is doing great things. But you have what it takes already. What do I have? How can I embrace these things so that I can actually get better and then move forward where I want to go and who I want to become? So that's very important perspective change where then you need to have and enjoy those learnings. And I will finish with very quick tips that how do you then start? Clarity, as I said, when you're telling yourself some of the things, you catch those things. So pay attention what you're telling to yourself every day. What do I tell myself? And catch that. And then if there's something that you want to change, then please write it down, because writing is very magical. I know nowadays AI, all the digital stuff, so you can delegate that to the AI. But like when you're really stuck in your thought and I don't really know what I'm telling, you write it down. Try to write it down, pen and pencil. It will make you more clear about what you're really thinking. So that practice and action over small goals. So just really tiny little things that you can do. Not making a huge goal and then just swamped by that. Instead, you just make a very, very small steps. Like, for example, I'm going to prepare pen and pencil today. Pen and paper today. And then I'll put it in the next to my nightstand. And tomorrow I will write it down. And then next day, small things. And then that will make you stay accountable so that you are actually achieving small things and then moving forward slowly, but then the change will happen over time and without even you knowing. So those are the little quick tips. You can take it away, hopefully. Anna-Kaisa is here looking at me. So I guess I'm wrapping up my talk now. Thank you so much. And it was so fun because I really love to talk about this topic from my heart. And it's really an honor to be here to share my story. Thank you.
Thank you, Minku.
Yes, thank you.
That was great. So I want to start with a question of, do you know if other game companies in Finland or elsewhere have a coach?
Yeah.
Yeah. How often, like how popular is that now?
Right. I think coaching becomes more known, I think, throughout the also difficult times we all through the pandemic. But before that, it was more form of probably the business and then performance and then team coaching. So people have like performance related goals, and also team wants to get better, and then they wanted to adjust how the team works the best. So then they will have the team coaching together. So coach will be there to really facilitating the whole dynamics. And so, yeah, I definitely think that the coaches are not unfamiliar with the game company, but how active that is depending on the company's culture a little bit. So in Supercell, at least, we have these internal coaches already, a few of them, and we are working with external coaches and then offer the support when they're feeling like, oh, I'm stuck with my career here within the company or my role, I need some more clarity, then they can reach out to the coaching and then have the coaching sessions about 3 to 6 months. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How does it work? Do you like actively suggest that we have this service? Remember, we're here, or is there like how does that work? Like if I would be working at Supercell, how do I get into coaching?
This timing is so important and then interesting to me because we just have like this coaching. How do you say, positioning, that because the well-being and then the mental health and then all of this are getting more important for everywhere. And then we were thinking, okay, coaching was before more organically offered, but now we are planning actually next year to make a more clear communication that what it is actually coaching is, just like I did. So I'm just working on it also. So it's interesting timing. That's what I say. So yeah, we are going to have much more like clarity around it, and then having some more internal PR, marketing,
like a structure of it.
Awareness, coaching, positioning,
If there's any questions from the audience, please raise your hand, and a mic will be brought to you. But I have more questions. I have quite many questions about this. So how does it, like, you already said that there's like external, internal coaches.
Yeah.
But how big is Supercell now? It's like 600?
Yeah, we are now 650.
Yeah,
altogether globally.
Yeah, how do you deal with the potential like workload of that? Like how important it is for you to also be coached?
Yes. So there are many different supported, but then I think if I understand correctly, that there's a external in-house coach is working with many different teams, and then the individuals will go and then find their own coaches within what's offered. So we work with coaching partners, service providers, and then also internal, the individual coaches that we have our relationship, like business relationship, and then we curate them and then bring them on board so that we can introduce and then connect them. So I don't think the coaching is so much right now so that we are not keeping up the demand. But it's going to grow, and I think there are always a good time to really, connect, and then, it's just depending on their own situation. So we wanted to keep it organic, really, because I know that in the big organizations they actually attach to pretty much like with the business goals or like move the needle type of it. But that's the one way of looking at the coaching. If really the organization wants to have that, but we are more holistic kind of approach. At least our L&D, we wanted to make it so that it's holistic. So if you live better, you also work better.
Right.
So then we are more that way. But some people are very specific about their goals. So like, I really want to have this business goal to match. And how do I go there? And then that's where you can discuss with your coach and then go with that one. Yeah.
I love it how you place the coaching in between like therapy and then mentoring. So just can you walk us through a little bit of like when, like, is there a lot of these cases that you kind of see that, oh, now you actually need mentor and now you actually need professional help for this part? Like, how does that happen? Is again still very organic?
Yeah, it's very still a little bit of like all coming up as an awareness. But I think the therapy is pretty known actually. So if some people feels burnt out or they feel like very heavy, I don't know where to go really. Mostly that they are probably first step is to just get in touch with the therapy, and then at some point they might talk with the colleagues and hey, coaching helps, and so then they're switching to the coaching side where that they wanted to then have a more future focused discussions. So that's also coach's kind of ability where that when you hear it, I think it's better that you are going to actually move to this or that. So that's also very organic. And the coaching is not because I have to be here with you. It's more like what is really needed for you. Right? So coaching is not really right now for you. Then they will guide you to suggest
other directions. There was a question in the stream. Have you looked into any psychology with your coaching? Do you think it would help? As talking about the general habits and behaviors of humans reminds me of some of the surface level stuff I've read. I mean, how much of coaching's works needs psychology or psyche, like the kind of the therapist education, those kind of things? How much do you need that in your work?
Right. So that's the word that it comes from the professional, like, the medical side of the. So therapy is really strictly saying from the therapist that told me that when I was asked this question, then she said like it's really you have a mental health issues, that it is something that you really require structured professional help. Then you need to seek for the help from the therapy. And psychology and the neuroscience are also embedded in the coaching side.
Right.
Because then based on the human behavior change is always connecting to that too. But you don't need that degree of studies or anything to be a coach, but you will need to really understand that how those mindset can change and the perspective can change and looking at the things in certain way. So it's just breaking your small habits of your thinking and then your mindset. So then you're actually seeing some different perspective, which gives you more options to really explore. Because mostly people really stay with one idea. I have been through that too.
So it's easy to empathize that as well, and you can see those patterns.
And there's a few practice, right? So either, like basically that is one thing also, you pay attention to what you're actually telling yourself, is it really serving me? Is it really not sabotaging me? And there's your choice. I'm going to listen to this more or not. Is also the practice.
Yeah.
Or then whenever you're having the feelings or something that is overwhelming, you will just take a break. Let me just sit here and then think about a few minutes. And then what is really good for me to move forward from here?
Yeah.
What resource I have at this moment to solve this one?
Right.
So I would say that it's not like you have to be a psychology, but you are having that small habits of how you actually show up to the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is something.
Any questions from the audience? If not, then I'm going to finish the Q&A with this question of mine, is that there's a lot of talk, especially after pandemic, there's a lot of talk of burnout. Yeah. So how much of coaching practices can kind of prevent that? How much you talk about the work-life balance and those kind of tendencies to, because there's like plenty of things that I would want to develop in, but there's not enough time, so you have to pick and choose, right?
Yes. I think some of the part of the burnout might be related to the self-talk. Inner critics. You need to do it more. You need to do that better. You have to do quickly. And all of things you have to do. So it's connecting to your some sort of self-worth, that you have to be productive, you have to be efficient, and just keep yourself like going. If you just listen to that inner critic the most, then where you are only that much you can offer. You have to give yourself also some sort of like break, and then maybe you listen to yourself a little bit. Now maybe this is not serving me. I need to prioritize it differently, or I have to say and then set the boundaries for me. But all of those are thrown out of the window when you're just listening to the inner critic. So that we need to probably go through some coaching, the journey, and then see, is it really that what you really want also? And what is the ideal state that you want to be? And what are the things are not happening, or are the blockage, so that you go through that clarity. And then you have to really catch that your inner critic, is it take over yourself, or then you're actually having also the empathetic, the leader within, take care of you as well. So there's some balance has to be. Yeah. So burnout can be with many different reasons. Yeah. I mean, it can be literally just the fact that you have too much work. Yeah. But if it was coming from your inner talk, and that is coaching it, then coaching can help to just look at it. Yeah.
So it's worth the companies to really invest on coaching.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, great. Absolutely. All right, we are going to go on a short break now. We thank Minkku for the amazing talk.